we used was fiber optics. So we could have used this fiber optics in our what the lab land what we have in our college, but it could be more costly than what the Ethernet that we have. Okay, so I can summarize all this different common implementation under this standard Ethernet. Okay, so I'll try to list out their characteristics and what was the line coding techniques, and it is common for everyone for every type of implementation. So it is Manchester encoding and decoding techniques, line coding technique, and what was the maximum length that the signal can travel without any fading or attenuation is under this implementation. So we would have 500 meters, 185 meters, 100 meters. Your standard Ethernet, so it will not get signal will not fade up to 100 meters. If you go beyond it, so then your signal may get degraded. So then you need to have an amplifier or something. You should choose a specific switch, and it uses a star topology. You can put another one, another table here, uh, another one line which gives us the topology. Okay, you can write here as topology where this will use a bus, and this would also used in bus. This would used in star, and this would also used in star. Okay, so as I said, your network should be connected in the form of star bus, and what was this would be used among each of these different types of implementation. 10 base 5, 10 base 2, 10 base T, and 10 base F. And what was the media word used? Here it is coaxial, thin and thick and thin. Here we used the UTP twisted pair cable, and we use here is an fiber. So what was the distance that you could use here? 2000 meters. Okay, and this will be an 100 meters where from your distance from your host to a switch. Let us say this would be a switch. This distance should not be greater than 100 meters. If that is 100 meters, then your signal will not be proper. It means your signal may be attenuated, and there might be uh, error may there will be a probability of error. Okay, if the signal will degrade, the receiver will not properly interpret what was the signals that you might receive. Okay, so that is all about your standard Ethernet. Okay, so in standard Ethernet, so there were four common implementation. So it may includes these three different transmission medias: coaxial, UTP, and the fiber. And for all this common implementation, so we use line coding method as Manchester encoding method. Okay, Manchester encoding method. Okay. The next one we will see. So there is a changes in the standard Ethernet. So in order to look after an higher data rate. So we said whatever this we made for every implementation, there is a fixed data rate which is 10 Mbps. Okay, so there is a changes with respect to the standard. Could be either it could be a topology or it could be a line coding methods what we use, or it could be any other thing like transmission medium. Okay, but there is a changes we underwent. So there will be a several changes before we are moving to an higher data rate. Okay, not I'm saying before to moving an higher data rate. So with this changes itself, we are planned to have an higher data rate. That's it. It not means that whatever the changes we made. So before we are moving to an higher data rate. Okay. So whatever this changes we made on standard Ethernet, which makes us to help to get the higher data rate along with some other this characteristics of the medium we were able to do this we were able to do. Okay, so this changes is actually open up a road to the evolution of this Ethernet and becomes compatible with your compatible with other higher data rate LANs, as well as it back compatible with your standard Ethernet. So as you change this something on the standard Ethernet, what we just looked at. After you changing it, so we were able to see there would be even chance of to get an higher data rate, and this would help to get collaborate with some other LAN technology which gives us an higher data rate. That is what higher data rate. Others higher data rate LAN. Except this Ethernet, there might be some other LAN technologies. It might evolve and it may give an higher data rate. So what was the changes we looked after here with respect to standard, which gives us a chance to look at to increase the data rate of this standard, and that will even participate or collaborate with some other higher data rate and technology. Okay, so here we were mainly discussing about there is something called bridge network and there is switched network and full duplex network. Before I'm getting into this part, I'll just show you something on this. So this is what we would call them as fiber optics interface, NIC card. Fiber optics, fiber NICs means it's similarly how the NIC network interface card we have in our laptop, which have a port compatible with connecting to an Ethernet or twisted pair cable UTP. So here there was an interface card which have an option to connect your fiber optics. Okay, so if you would connect this to your PC or something your laptop to an PCI slot, so this will now gives us connecting to your fiber network. Okay, fiber network means complete your LAN will be using a fiber optics cable. So where your data rate and the bandwidth will be infinite. Data rate would be something you'll get in terms of gigabits. Probably if the bandwidth will be you would be having infinite. So you will be having an infinite bandwidth, so that there is no question of what we were looking at in your standard Ethernet. Okay. So you can see 10 giga fiber Ethernet card, gigabit fiber Ethernet card. There were so many different types of NICs in fiber. You will get 25 gigabit Ethernet card. Okay, for 40 GB, 40. There were so many applications, and where actually we use this NICs card. So you can see your switch would also support this fiber NICs. If a switch will have, instead of having this Ethernet ports, if that would comes with fiber ports, and at your another end, if either it be a server or your host would also have this fiber NICs, then you would be able to directly connect them. Okay, this port and this port you connect within fiber itself instead of connecting with Ethernet. So that makes a fiber network. Okay, so we use a fiber network connecting to your server and the data in the storage. Okay, that itself in another it's another course. So what we call a SAN, storage area network. Storage area network is something what a network, an I dedicated network built between a storage device and to a server. Because whatever you store on an application, it will not store locally. Instead, that will be stored on an storage array. Right? It not to be any independent storage you would look at. If you look at any enterprises, they will not going to have storage on an independent servers. Instead, they will have a complete storage rack, and every applications will map to that logical unit what they have that storage array. Okay, so how you will map and build a network between them is what is another a course I will study on that storage area network. Probably you might have this in your next semester as an elective. I don't know whether it's there or not. Elective, and it's completely on storage network. Okay, designing a network between a server and the storage, and understanding this the protocol stack, this protocols, and all those things. Okay, so somewhere there they would use it, because here probably you may wait for some time to get the data in your PC, right, on your device. Okay, when you click something google.com, or if you would trying to transfer a data from your host to another host over a network, probably that may get delayed due to some factors, or there might be an impact on a network which makes your data to get delivered delayed onto another network. But if you would use a fiber network, probably that is 10 times much faster than what you would see in your Ethernet. So this kind of requirement is there in an enterprise level. So there exactly they will use this optical networks on. Okay. So that is what I just wanted to give you an idea what is called fiber network. Fiber network. Otherwise, you can simply go and search on SAN. Okay. I just show you here. So storage area network and different click search. Okay. So this is what. So I would mainly say that SAN. Uh, Let me show you that diagram. Okay. I think this you would understand it better. Okay. So this diagram where you could see in this right hand side. So these are all application servers. I think you could see these were all application server. From this server, you will have a client access LAN, means this is your typical LAN. Either it could be Ethernet or it could be fiber. But your server and the storage device, they are connected with this a dedicated network, which we would call them as storage area network. Is a dedicated network between a server and a storage device. We call them as storage area network. Okay, it has its own set of protocol stack. It has its own model, networking model, and it has each layer. It might have a different protocols. What we were looking at here in terms of network, in Ethernet network, or it could be any other network. It would also follow TCP/IP, but we will be having in each layer. We'll be having different set of protocols. Since this media itself is different, we need to have a different set of protocols because here we were likely to send the data over a light. Okay, so we have this is what your SAN network. Okay, applications database could be any other application servers, database server, mail server, application server, some file server, some backup server. All these servers were connected, okay, so to a dedicated network, and that will again connected either in somewhere. This is what the existing storage. This all this were connected to existing storage, and this existing storage would also connect it to remote site devices. Okay, again there in remote device site you might also have the same thing: database server, mail server, application server, file server, backup server. In another location in remote site you might have same database, mail, and so. But what is the common thing here? For every this applications, what you would have at in different location, you have a centralized storage part. What you do on this, what you write on this database, that will backend it will write on this storage. Even that this database would get the same data set of data which is right wrote by this database, isn't it? So it will not be a distributed storage or an independent or local storage to each servers. Instead of it will be a centralized storage. How you build a network with storage and the servers, so is what you called as SAN network. Okay. So there where we would use this type of implementation. Which one? The fiber network. So that is about like to explain. Okay. So then we will see some of this bridge network, switch network, and there is something called full duplex Ethernet. So actually, we were made this slight changes, what we called using of bridging network, Ethernet switching network, and the full duplex network. Okay. So what I would like to say here, so I said initially we were be using in standard Ethernet, we were initially started with using of bus topology. Okay, this would be your thick net, and all these were thin net. Okay, so what if your a backbone network, a backbone cable would have a bandwidth of 10 Mbps. Okay, so we said that if this in broadcast link, among these stations, only one station has to send its data, and all other station, let us say here it is 12. Out of 12, only one should send the data, and all others should refrain, should not send its data at same time. Okay, then what will happen? So this complete bandwidth could be utilized by the that particular host. What if you use some other access method and makes all station could transmit their data simultaneously? If I made something, what I would say, use some other access method, and you made all station could use CDMA or whatever you said, access method. If you made all station could transmit at same time, obviously the total bandwidth what we would have that should be shared across all these hosts. If you have 12 hosts and the bandwidth of this link will be 12 Mbps, and this bandwidth, complete bandwidth should shared with this 12 host. Then each host will get how much? There is something called 1 Mbps. Okay. So there is something, if you would do this segmenting, if this complete one segment, network segment, if you divide them into two segments, and if you connect them with a bridge, okay, you made them into net, instead of one segment, I made them into two segments and I bridged them two segments with a bridge. What happens now? Connecting the number of users to a channel will be reduced after you segmented, right? After you segmented, you can see this will be acts as one network segment and this will be acts as another network segment. And the band of sharing would be now it is reduced because 12 divided by 6, because the bandwidth will after segmented it will not something, it will not change, it will be keep same. It might have a data rate of around 12 Mbps, where now it will be each station will get something 2 Mbps per second. After for one segment there is an improvement in 1 to 2 Mbps. Here also each station would get 2 Mbps. Okay, if you do more segmenting, there is an advantage is what we call raise in bandwidth. You can see sharing of bandwidth is something what there are assumed in a brush topology where the two station has data to send, lot of frames to send. Either they should share that bandwidth with alternate time slot, or if both of them would transmitting at the same time, the 10-bit bandwidth will be reduced to each stations to get the 5 Mbps, 5 Mbps. This is what the sharing of bandwidth, right? See here, after you segmented, okay, what we were seeing here, there will be raise in bandwidth, right? After one segment, I would get each station would be 2 Mbps. If you do more segment, if you do them in four segments, in each segment you have three stations being connected, three station, three station, three station, three station, and again here it would also three station, and this will be get bridged, and again this would also get bridged with one bridge. And now each station how much they were getting? If they were 12 divided by 3, each they were getting 4 Mbps as a bandwidth. So assuming that this data will not flowing through this bridge, isn't it? Or taking this isolated network segment, finding out what was the each station they may get the bandwidth like data rate is what 4 Mbps. Assuming the data will not go flow through the bridge, because bridge would also be one of the participant of each of this network segment. Then it will becomes 4. Let us don't want to consider it. Assuming in theory, if you would have more segment and all of them segments were bridged with the bridges, there will be one advantage we were getting is rise in bandwidth. Okay. And another one is what is called we were able to reduce the collision domain. Okay, what do you mean by collision domain? Is a domain wherein which is a network or a domain wherein which if any one of the packet is involved in collision, if that collision, how many hosts that will get affected? It will get affected with the whole the domain, right? If once the data is get involved in collision, then all these stations will receive the collide signal, and they don't know whether its own data is in collision or some other data might collision. It doesn't know. They don't know which data is collide. So which one host data if they collide, it affects.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see here. You can search in Google and you can see Ethernet. So this was a basic one what we used broadcasting. So here, what coaxial based kind of network, Ethernet network, where all machines were daisy chained using this RG58 coaxial cable, and two machines wants to send a data. So first it listen and to make sure no one else is using this network. Okay, that is what CSMA. And so if both were send it simultaneously, then that will be a collision. Okay. So I just wanted to show you this. This is what hub based using hub. If anyone send, that will be sent to everyone. Okay, every port. Okay, that might be chance of collision if more than one they were sending their data at same time. Okay, but what if in switching? See, if one would send to and two, two would send to and two, then it's only connect between two itself. Okay, you can see if three will be sending, it will build a connection to three and it will send. Or two will be sending five, it will build a connection, temporary connection to it and it will send. So there will be no collision at all in what is called switching in switched network. And there will be something token ring in token ring where this might be connected like this ring topology, where here a token will revolve in this network and it may chance whoever the station wants to send, it will hold the token and it will send. That is the access method. I'm not discussing any of this like how this data should be interpreted, how it should be formatted and all in sub MAC layer. And there will be something token bus with like token ring with using an hub. There might be again token will be revolved and again come back like this. If any station wants to send, it will hold the token and it will send. Okay, this is what one of the animations by. Okay, so the next one, after we made these changes, and that gives us a road to see how you can improvise the data rate from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. The fast Ethernet was designed to compete with the LAN protocols such as FDDI or fiber channels. IEEE has created a fast Ethernet under the name of 802.U 3.U. Okay, this is what actually I should write here. 802.3.U 3U dot 3U. Okay, and fast Ethernet and is back compatible with your standard Ethernet. If one port will be this fast Ethernet standards, and if another port might be of of the standard Ethernet. Okay, it might also have a fast Ethernet. So both will negotiate themselves. There will be auto negotiation between them, and they will fix to a data rate of around 10 Mbps. But it can transmit the data 10 times faster than what the standard Ethernet which provides. Okay, and and what was the topological changes we made with respect to standard Ethernet? There will be no bus. If one or more station wants to connect, they would connect like this in this topology form. Okay, so either you may connect them in, if they have only two stations, we connect them in this point to point. If more than one station, if you would have, then we connect them in the star topology. Okay, and there will be set of common implementation with here in fast Ethernet. In fast Ethernet, there were three implementation we were made: 100 base TX, okay, 100 base FX, and 100 base T4. And you know that what is this notation says. 100 is 100 Mbps baseband signaling, and 2 wires of UTP, where here 4 wires of UTP and 2 wires of fiber. Okay, so this was this three uh, the interface type, that implementation that may consist of. Okay, when comes to this physical layer, for each of this implementation, we will be having different encoding and decoding methods. Okay, so here Manchester encoding, in order to get an 100 Mbps speed, so Manchester encoding needs 200 megawatt bandwidth for each, for the data rate of 100 Mbps. So which makes it if unsuitable for each of this media what we last looked up, the twisted pair cable. So for this reason, the faster Ethernet is designed from an alternative encoding method, which is used to be here for each of these common implementation types. We will be using a different encoding methods and the encoding and decoding methods. Encoding methods we were using different. Okay. So first, if you see in this type of implementation, 10 base TX. So here we were using MLT3. Okay, MLT3 scheme was selected since it has a very good bandwidth performance. Okay, we are using an MLT3 line coding techniques at the center side, the encoder, and here it will be a decoder. And we know that MLT3 will not give the self synchronization. So whenever there is an occurrence of long sequence of zeros or long sequence of one, where this type of line coding techniques will not give us the synchronization at the receiver side. So for synchronization, we use something called 4 by B. Okay, 4 by B block encoders technique. Okay, we were using 4B by 5B, means 4 bits converted to 5 bits for the synchronization. Okay, so where here we were with this standard, like we're using this block encoding techniques for synchronization and MLP3 for line coding technique we would use. So work implementation, we were able to get the speed of around 100 Mbps. Similarly, for 10 base FX, we were using 4B by 5B encoder block encoding techniques, and for line encoding, we are using non-return to zero inverse line coding encoding method for fiber implementation. For another 4 wires implementation, we directly use 8B by 6 ternary encoder techniques, where that is the only one we would use for 4 by the implementation type of 4 base T4. Okay, so when it comes to this summary, each of this type, where a media were Cat5 UTP or STP, where here the media is fiber, here it is Cat4 UTP. Okay, the number of wires here 2 to 4, and the maximum length is same across all this implementation, 100, 100, 100. And the block encoding techniques we were used is 4 bits to 5 bits and 4 bits to 5 bits. Here, no block encoding techniques. And here the line encoding technique we used is MLT3, and for fiber it is non-return to zero inverse techniques we use, and for this one UTP 4 bits for 6 ternary encoding techniques we use. Okay. Similarly, and there is we not change anything with respect to MAC layer or how the data should be represented. We not touched anything with that. Only we were changed with the interface, the like physical cable and the line encoding techniques in order to get higher data rate, and somewhat changes with respect to the network topology, how the network all this should be connected. And there is a need of even an higher data rate result in designing of gigabit Ethernet protocol, which gives us 1000 Mbps, and we call this under a standard of 802.33Z. Okay. Here we are also like to discuss on these three aspects: MAC layer, physical layer, and the 10 gigabit. 10 gigabit is the next one. After this, what the 10 gigabit Ethernet is used nowadays. First, we will look at with respect to this MAC layer. The MAC layer, again, when it comes to here, it will not test anything. It kept as it is, as what we discussed in standard Ethernet. And this would also have a features to give the backward compatibility, and would also to a backward standard what we have fast Ethernet as well as standard Ethernet. And it would also support the same frame format it keeps same the minimum length and the maximum length. Okay, and it even supports the auto negotiation with and fast Ethernet as well as the standard Ethernet. So in full duplex mode, a gigabit Ethernet, there will be no collision and the maximum length of the cable is determined by the signal attenuation in the cable. And how was the topology we were defined? It's something like hierarchical based. I think you might have heard about, I said. So how and given an organization, how we were used to architect the network based on tier level, right? Distributed access layer, then there is something core layer where it's actually hierarchically we were connecting. The host connected to nearby switch is called access layer. That access layer switch connected to distributed switch, and that distributed connected to core switch. Something where if only two stations were there, we connected them point to point. If some were, we connect them in star, and we might connect these two different star if more network if you would have like one network at one location, another star network at another location, and we connect bridge between them. And otherwise, we will connect hierarchical star connect, and this would connect it to another network switch and connecting switch. This will be now if I write an horizontal line. This will be access now. What all these are host, all this is access layer switch, and all this connected to where a distributed switch, and all this distributed if you have more network one, then all this were connected to where core switch. This is what tier architecture, what everyone would use today by a network administrator, network architecture to design of this network. Okay. Okay. And what was the implementation we were having here in gigabit? So commonly we have four implementation: 1000 based SX, 1000 base LX, 1000 base CX, and 1000 base T. So these two were short wave fiber, long wave fiber. Means they used to operate with a different optical window. Probably this might be at 1850 nanometer. This might be otherwise 1310 nanometer or 1500 nanometer. Okay, wavelength. Okay, here this would be copper STP, 1000 base STP copper cable, same as your UTP. And here this two pair and four pair, or four wire, two wire. Okay, and for each of this implementation, let's see the first three implementation might use this line coding technique and block coding technique, and the last one, four wires of UTP what we saw, they probably use PM5 encoder techniques. Okay, here 8 bits to 10 blocks encode block encoder technique, providing synchronization, and they might use a line encoding technique as NRZ. Okay, simple encoding techniques where which would helps to get to the data rate of around 1000 Mbps. Okay, and for this 10,000 base T, so we will be using for 4D PAM5 line encoding technique for to get the data at around 1 GB. Okay, and if I would like to summarize all this, there were four types of implementation in gigabit Ethernet, and each may have two wires up to this three, and last one might have four. This may have different length, which may a signal may travel 550, 5000, 25 meters. This might be 100 meters, and the block encoding technique is 8 bit to 10 bit. And here something line coding techniques or NRZ, here it would be used 4D PM5 line coding techniques. Okay, and there is another one 10 gigabit Ethernet. So in 10 gigabit Ethernet, it quite similar to your gigabit. Probably the media and the length we just wanted to show you, and the whatever the features we saw in 10 gigabit, the same would also be in 10 gigabit Ethernet. What we saw in 10 gigabit, the same thing we would also be able to get in 10 gigabit, which is it might back compatible with previous standards. It will also auto negotiate with all other standards what we have, and it will keep the frame format same. It will untouch the MAC layer standard specification, and it will what you call all these things same as it uses the same 48-bit MAC address. It upgrades the data rate from 1 gigabit to 10 gigabit. Okay, the medias were completely fiber-based implementation. Okay, short wave, long wave, and extended. So it might be operating with different optical windows like 850 nanometer, 1010 nanometers and 1500 nanometers. And the maximum length that might be like 310 kilometers and 40 kilometers. Okay, so we don't need to worry about what was the like specification they might use with respect to line coding and block coding. Uh, just you should know what was the implementation and what was the distance that it meant to cover. Okay, up to here the 10 like gigabit, you should know all this implementation. So what was the for synchronization, what was the block coding techniques they might use, and what was the line coding technique along with that to get the data record around 1 GB, 1000 Mbps, and the standard Ethernet it will be 10 Mbps. 10 Mbps, it's all use same thing Manchester, but in fast Ethernet we might have used different line coding for each of this implementation. For here, for first three, we would use same thing. For last four wires of UDP, we might use the another types of line coding. So this completes your second module. For by tomorrow, we'll start with the next new chapter, discussing about wireless LAN standards. Any doubts so far? You can ask me. Understood or not understood? If you have any doubts, please ask me now. I will wait another 1 minute. So if you have any doubts.